Good morning, everybody. Judge, I believe we're, I suppose we're waiting on, I know Melinda's there, I see her.
Melinda's here. All right, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Are you muted, Melinda?
Maybe.
I think it's something like that. All right, yeah. Chambers County Probate Court come to order. Calls number 20 CPR 0094, the state of Judy Jane Steen. Ms. Nelson.
Lisa Nelson for the applicant, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Judge?
Good. How are you? So,
I'm good, thank you.
are you testifying to the probate?
Yes, sir. My client doesn't have access to Zoom.
All right, raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And you may proceed, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Decedent Judy Jane Steen died on February 9th.
I lost you. Ms. Nelson, you froze up on me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll start over. Decedent Judy Jane Steen died on February 9th, 2020 in Harris County, Texas at the age of 76 years. This court has jurisdiction and venue because decedent owned real property in Chambers County on the date of her death. 4 years have not elapsed since the date of decedent's death and the filing of the application to probate her will. No surviving children were born to or adopted by decedent after the execution of the will. Decedent's marriage to Milas Donovan Steen was dissolved on September 6, 1994. Decedent did not name the state of Texas, a governmental agency of the state of Texas, or any charitable organization as a devisee in the will. An administration of the above styled estate is necessary because it's necessary to receive property and funds due to the estate. The will names applicant Mary Frances Tolley, aka Mary Tolley Robinson, to serve as independent executor, and an independent administration of the estate is appropriate because the will directed that Mary Frances Tolley, aka Mary Tolley Robinson, serve independently without bond. We also request that no appraisers be appointed because no appraisal is needed.
Okay, is that it?
That's it. Thank you, Your Honor. Nothing further.
It's will to probate as a mutable title. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's go to 20 CPR 0098, state of Sean Kennedy. Mr. Dawson.
Don't say names, which is fine.
Dick, can you hear me?
Okay, how's that, Judge?
That's good.
Okay.
All right. Raise your
Judge, if I have Denise Lindsay here, who is the executor, and also Carol Gillihan, who is one of the subscribing witnesses. If she could join us. I don't see her there. I'll go ahead. Would you, Judge?
go ahead and raise.
Would you raise your right hand, please, Denise? What's your, Judge? Does she need to be sworn in?
She does. Who's your other witness?
Well, Carol Gillihan, and
okay, she's on. She's on. I don't see her. Miss Gillihan.
I'm here. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, I don't know how to do it so you can see me.
You click on the.
I just clicked, Miss Gillihan, I just clicked to ask you to start video. So if you see a pop up, there you go.
Gotcha.
Yep, there you go.
My first time on Zoom.
oh, good.
Okay, now both of you raise your right hand, please. Wait, I lost Dick.
No, there he is. Oh.
I'm not going to testify,
There you
Judge. Just Denise.
Okay.
Carol.
All right, if you both of you raise your right hand, go ahead, Melinda.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
Yeah, all right, you may proceed, sir. You can put your hand there.
Judge, I have Elsie Denise Lindsay here, as well as Carol Gillahan. Ms. Gillahan's up in Indiana, and she was one of the surviving witnesses. My first witness will be Elsie Denise Lindsay. Is that your name, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
And I need you to speak up so the court can hear you. And were you acquainted with Sean Kennedy?
I was.
And how long did you know him?
Over 30 years.
And did he die in Chambers County, Texas on April 25th, 2020?
He did.
How old was he?
42.
Where did he reside?
He resided at 10107 Walker Lane.
Did he live with your husband and yourself?
Yes, he did.
And how long did he live with you all?
He had been with us for 5 years.
And did he have a will?
The one that we had got the forms to fill out for him.
Okay, and I'd ask you to look at this document, which, can you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
And what does it say at the top?
Last will and testament of Sean Kennedy.
And did you assist him signing that, preparing that will?
Yes, sir. I helped him.
Where did you find the will?
It was the online site that had wills for the state of Texas.
Okay, and he left his, for the most part, he left the bulk of his estate, if not the entire estate, to whom?
To his mother,
And what was her name?
Kathy Burnham.
And Judge, I respectfully request you take judicial notice of the will dated April 22nd, 2020.
Yes,
And a necessity exists for the administration of the estate. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And there was no children born or adopted after the date of the will. Is that correct?
No, sir.
And he was a single person. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And was there any gifts to any charitable organizations or any governmental entity?
No, sir.
It was a non-taxable estate. Is that right?
Correct.
And there's no need for an appraiser. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And he did not apply for Medicaid benefits. Is that right?
That's correct.
And he named you as independent executrix of his will to administer the estate. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you qualified to do that?
Yes, sir.
And where do you work?
At ExxonMobil here in Baytown.
Do you work in security?
I do.
And Judge, that's all I have of Elsie Denise Lindsay.
hey, call your next witness, sir.
Now I would call Carol J. Gillahan. Did I say that right?
Gillahan, yes.
Okay, and where do you live, ma'am?
Belleville, Illinois.
Okay, and you're speaking from Illinois at this time, is that correct?
I am.
And were you one of the witnesses to the will of Sean Kennedy?
Yes, sir.
And was that will dated April 22nd, 2020? Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Did he sign the will in your presence?
Yes, he did.
And there was one other witness to the will. Was that James Cormier?
Correct.
And the will was signed down here in Chambers County, Texas. Is that correct?
Yes.
How long did you know Mr. Kennedy?
Over 20 years.
And at the time he signed the will, was he well over the age of 18 and of sound mind?
Yes.
And did he declare to you that it was his last will and testament? Did he?
I don't remember
indicate-
a verbal declaration of such.
Was it clear that it was his last will and testament?
Yes, it was.
And did you and Mr. Cormier as witness sign it as witnesses on that day?
We did.
Do you have any financial interest in Sean Kennedy's estate?
No.
You have nothing to gain financially, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you so much, Carol. That's all I have, Judge. I'd respectfully request that the will dated April 22nd, 2020 be admitted to probate, and that Elsie Denise Lindsay be appointed independent executrix to serve without bond. That's all I have, Judge.
Go down. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Take care, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you
All right,
much.
cause number 20, CPR 0105, the state of Francis Ernest Desmo Sr. Mr. Bill.
We're here, Judge.
All right, so raise your right hand, ma'am.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Say it out loud.
I do.
Okay, and you may proceed, Counselor.
Okay, thank you, Judge. All right, can you state your name for the record, please?
Misty Dawn Avalos.
Okay, and do you know Francis Ernest Desmo?
Yes.
Do you know that Francis died on August 17, 2018?
Yes.
And obviously that's not been 4 years since the date of his death, right?
Yes.
Now, you understand that the court has jurisdiction over his estate because he was a resident of Chambers County?
Yes.
Okay, come down a little bit, please. Now, at the time of the execution of the will, do you know that the decedent was at least 18 years of age,
Yes.
of sound mind?
Yes.
Okay, and he executed the will with the formalities, come down, please, and under the circumstances required by law for valid self-proved will?
Yes.
Okay, and to the best of your knowledge, he did not revoke this will at any time, right?
Yes.
Okay. You don't know of any objection or contest to this will at this point, right?
No.
Okay, come on. Now, in the will, you are named as the executor of the estate. Is that correct?
Yes.
To serve without bond,
Yes.
and you're not disqualified by law from serving. You're not a felon or anything like that.
No, I'm not a felon.
Okay. And you're willing to serve, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you're trying to get this will admitted to probate because there's a necessity for the administration of the estate as it exists, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you need letters testamentary to get this thing done, right?
Yes.
And you're asking the court that we don't need an appraiser or anything after this is done. All we need is basically an inventory or a affidavit in lieu of an inventory. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I have in front of me the proof of death and other facts, as well as the oath of independent executor, which Mr. Avalos will sign here in front of Camilla, who's a notary, Judge, and I'll get that e-filed as soon as she does that.
Okay. Sounds good. Brian Mitchell to probate and authorize a letter. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Judge. All right.
Calls number 106, State Deputy Eugene Fullen. Morning, Mr. Fuller.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm present.
Go ahead.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
I do. Your Honor, my name is Roy Fuller. I'm acquainted and have personal knowledge of the family history of decedent David Eugene Fullen. The decedent died on June the 18th, 2020 in Harris County at the age of 48 years. 4 years have not elapsed since the date of his death. At the time of his death, he was a resident and domicile in Chambers County. The document, which is dated September the 22nd, 2018, which is the last will and testament of the decedent, has been filed with the court, and I asked the judge and asked the court to take judicial knowledge of that will.
Yes, sir.
To my knowledge, that will was never revoked. No children born or adopted after the execution of the will. The decedent did not have a marriage that was dissolved. And the will names the surviving spouse, Gail Ann Fullen, to serve as independent executor. And to my knowledge, there's no reason why she would be disqualified. The will does not name the state, a governmental agency of the state, or a charitable organization as a devisee. We'd ask the court to admit the will to probate. There is a need for an administration, and it is a non-taxable estate. We'd ask the court to waive the appraisers.
Go down. All right, Mr. Fuller, you have 107, the state of Gaynell B. Lemming.
Am I still under oath, Your Honor?
You are.
Your Honor, I have personal knowledge of the history of the decedent Gaynell B. Lemming, who died on September the 14th, 2020 in Harris County at the age of 78 years. 4 years not elapsed since the date of her death. At the time of her death, she was a resident and domiciled in Chambers County. The original will, which is dated December the 12th, 2006 has been filed with the court. I'd ask the court to take judicial knowledge of that will.
Yeah.
Dear Honor, there were no children born or adopted after the execution of the will. The will was never revoked. There were no marriages dissolved. The will names the surviving spouse, Patrick Henry Lemon Sr., to serve as independent executor. To my knowledge, there's no reason why he would be disqualified from serving. The will does not name the state, a governmental agency of the state, or a charitable organization as a devotee. It's a non-taxable estate. We'd ask the court to waive the appraisers and admit the will to probate.
Go down. Moving to 110, the state of Clyde Hughes. You testifying also?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
You're still under oath. You can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. The decedent, Clyde Hughes, died on September the 10th, 2020 in Chambers County. He was 96 years of age. 4 years have not elapsed since the date of his death. At the time of his death, he was a resident and domiciled in Chambers County. The original will, which is dated April the 22nd, 2013, has been filed with the court, and I ask the court to take judicial knowledge of that last will.
Okay.
There were no children born or adopted after the execution of the will. The will was never revoked. There was no marriage of the decedent that was dissolved. The will names the surviving spouse, Julia Hughes, to serve as independent executor. And to my knowledge, there's no reason why she'd be disqualified from serving. The will does not name the state, governmental agency of the state, or a charitable organization as a devotee. It's a non-taxable estate. We'd ask the court to waive the appraisers and admit the will to probate.
Go down.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Counselor. All right, moving to 111, the state of Kenneth Ray Smith. Good morning, Mr. McCall.
Good morning, Judge.
Raise your right hand, ma'am.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, you put your hand down, ma'am, and you may proceed, Counselor.
Thank you, Judge. Your name is Carla Smith, and you need to answer out loud.
Yes.
You were married to Kenneth Ray Smith, is that correct?
Yes.
He passed away on August the 16th of this year,
Yes.
and he had his fixed place of residence in Chambers County on the day he passed away.
Yes.
And you filed this original will for probate in Chambers County?
Yes.
And so far as you know, he never revoked that will.
No.
Okay. He didn't leave anything to any charity or governmental entity or anything like that?
No.
He didn't have any children born to or adopted to him after the date of the will?
No.
He didn't get divorced after the date of the will?
No.
And the will named you as the independent executor? Is that correct?
Yes.
And you're not disqualified in any way from serving as the independent executor?
No.
And you're asking that the court admit the will to probate and appoint you as the independent executor?
Yes.
And you've had an opportunity to review this proof of death and other facts?
Yes.
And you've signed that in front of the notary, and that's already been on file before.
Yes.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, hereby admit the will to probate and authorize letters. Thank you, Counselor. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Austin.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is anyone